Hi, I'm Eleanor Fung, and with my colleagues here, we're going to briefly discuss a novel self-assembling agent, AC5G, for the use in submucosal lifting and endoscopic resection and the management of GI bleeding. These are our disclosures. Currently, there is no ideal agent that exists that creates both a lift and as well as hemostasis or sealant activity. Ideally, what we would want would be something that was easy to use, work quickly, and not contain any animal or human components. It should provide a substantial lift with good delineation of tissue planes and also stop bleeding and leaks in the GI tract. We'd also not want it to interfere with any wound healing. AC5G seems to fulfill many of these requirements. We specifically assessed its ability to lift, stop bleeding, delineate tissue planes, as well as its ease of use, and we hope to show that to you here. In terms of its mechanism of action, AC5G consists of a peptide made from naturally occurring amino acids. Its mechanism is to create a lift and stop bleeding that differs from what is currently on the market. When in the presence of an ionic aqueous environment, such as a wound, the peptide units self-assemble or come together into bundles of nanofibrils to create a dense network locally on the tissue. This computer animation on the top right is how it self-assembles into these nanofibrils, and the electron micrograph on the bottom is the assembled peptide. Importantly, non-covalent forces is what drives AC5G self-assembly into a network. And in its simplest description, AC5G network acts as a barrier to stop bleeding, delineate tissue planes, and also acts as an extracellular matrix-like scaffold to provide an environment that is permissive to wound healing. In terms of its physical characteristics, before application, the product is a slightly viscous liquid that is in a syringe. In rheological terms, as you can see on the right on the graph, it has a low G prime or storage modulus. When expressed from the syringe, shear thinning occurs, and it allows it to be delivered through our typical endoscopic injection needle, either 23 or 25 gauge. Once it reaches tissue, this self-assembly occurs and forms a durable and firm hemostatic cushion. And that's what we show in this graph on the right. And the second column is that it is 40 times greater. It has a higher G prime or storage modulus, meaning it's more of a gelatin type structure. Currently, there is no ideal product yet. The currently available lifting agents that we have don't stop bleeding. Conversely, commercially available hemostatic agents do not lift. Furthermore, the commercially available hemostatic agents do have their shortcomings. They can sometimes be unreliable, not be user-friendly, particularly endoscopically, can provide an immune response, cause adhesions, and can sometimes function poorly in the presence of antithrombotics. AC5G, based on our experience, is able to provide a lift as well as hemostasis, while seeming to avoid the shortcomings of other products. We were able to study AC5G in a live porcine gastric model. This is one of several examples in which we recreated a submucosal lift by injecting approximately 1.5 to 3 milliliters of AC5G in the submucosal space. As you can see, it is easily deliverable through a 25 gauge injection needle. This lift was created with a single injection and with less required volume when compared to other agents. This lift was also found to be durable and present for over 2 hours. Following lifting, submucosal tunneling was also able to be performed, in which a triangle tip electrosurgical knife was used to dissect in the submucosal space after AC5G was delivered. With the aid of AC5G, we were able to clearly define this space from the underlying muscularis propria, which is white, and safely delineate and dissect in the correct tissue planes in the submucosal plane, which is particularly important in both ESD as well as other procedures such as POEM and POP. So in this illustration, the submucosal space is outlined in blue and the muscularis propria is outlined in white. We were also able to safely perform endoscopic mucosal resections and polypectomies in the same live porcine stomach model using AC5G both as a lifting agent as well as a hemostatic agent. Pseudopolyps were created using a variceal bander, and AC5G was delivered via an injection needle beneath the polyp to create a durable lift. The Polyp was removed using a hot snare polypectomy technique, and you can see a clean post-polypectomy bed. The post-polypectomy defect was then clipped mechanically with 2 clips, as you can see here. And this is what we would typically do. But in addition to that, we were able to use AC5G to then topically apply over the clips. So AC5G is being delivered over the clips as additional modality for bleeding prevention and to optimize the microenvironment of the post-polypectomy wound bed for healing. This is also probably applicable to the management of bleeding peptic ulcer disease, where 2 modalities are typically recommended to achieve durable hemostasis. We were also able to recreate a model for bleeding in this pig stomach, in which a cold polypectomy was performed to induce bleeding, as you can see here. There was active bleeding at the post-polypectomy bed. AC5G was then used both topically and as an injectable agent. So here you can see the topical application of AC5G over the bleeding post-polypectomy bed. And this was able to successfully stop the bleeding. As a second modality, we were also able to inject the same AC5G agent in the submucosal space as a second modality to stop bleeding. And this was we were able to create durable hemostasis. This hemostasis was maintained despite vigorous subsequent saline irrigation, as you can see here, and there are still no signs of bleeding following both applications. This slide again summarizes the ascribed AC5G attributes, some of which we tested. One I would like to highlight is that self-assembly is driven by non-covalent bonding forces. Consequently, the product is not adhesive, but instead cohesive. And this is an important contributor to some of the results that we saw, including its ability to provide a biocompatible barrier. In conclusion, AC5G represents an emerging technology that combines disparate properties into one product. We were able to show that AC5G delivers a firm cushion that provides both a durable lift and stops bleeding. We believe that AC5G has significant potential in a range of endoscopic and surgical applications. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll take any questions you may have now.